Hey everybody, Scott here for the Helix channel. It is Tuesday, and today I am taking several requests all in one. I got a bunch of emails from people asking me to show them how to use the IRs, build a preset from scratch, soup to nuts, how I do everything. So, let's go do everything. You betcha. I'm going to show you the whole Megillah today. The whole shooting match. The whole enchilada. Anyway, for me it always starts with the IRs, and we're going to go over to my computer. I'm going to show you how I select the IRs that I put into my little IR roster, list, tablet, I don't know what you call it. Bank, that's a good one. Yeah, my IR bank. It's adjacent to the Spank Bank, but not really related. They're neighbors. Anyway, oh shit, my computer just turned itself off. Hey, wake up. All right, let's go over there, show you that part. Then we'll go over to the Helix, do the rest of it. Okay, I'm gonna make this as snappy as possible because time is tight. I've only got a 16 gigabyte iPhone 5S here, so I only have, so much memory. Now, open up the Helix utility with it connected to your Helix. Otherwise, you won't see anything. It'll say Helix device not detected. Go to the impulses. I load an impulse into here from my own hammer files. The line 6. This is the new vintage 30. Which is really cool. He just came out with an expansion pack on the 1960 Marshall checkerboard cabinet with vintage 30. So of course I had to get those. All you do is drag them and drop them. Just click on it, drag it over to here. There you go. I tend to gravitate towards the ribbon microphones for the mics, and then I use some of the mixes. So I use a fair portion of both. I don't mess with the quick start stuff. Now you'll notice this is a little buzzy, because my Helix is connected just for these purposes right here. But we'll go over to the Helix now, and I'll show you how I build a preset. All right, I'm going to do this in real time. First thing I always do when building a preset is turn on the gate. Let's drop the threshold down to about 78, and the decay way down. I wish there was a button that would put it all the way down to 125 for me every time, but whatever. Now with this particular preset, let's start with a compressor. Let's use the red squeeze. I like this one. I like to roll back the mix, roll up the level. All right, we are starting to get something happening. Next, let's add an EQ. I love the parametric EQ. And this is something that I got from Kevin at Ownhammer. And he talks about an EQ curve that to make the IRs sound more like a tube amp. And so I'm, following his lead here. Take the lowest frequency, set it to 100 hertz. The middle, set it to 405. I want to set it to 400, but there's no option for that. There's 395 or 405. Set that to 1.2. Drop it down 3 dB. I know, seems like a lot. Roll the top here to 2.0. Up 3. And set that accordingly. Low cut. We'll go with my standard 63 hertz, and then the top end we'll set to 10K. Removes fizzy top end and boomy bottom. Oh, I hate a boomy bottom. Oh my god. Now we need an amp. We'll do a clean preset here. Cleanish. Let's use I really like the SX-A30. I always roll off some drive because it's a little bit hot for my liking. Roll off a bunch of bass, some high cut, some treble. Presence I almost always have at 0, just because that's another thing that Kevin recommended from Lone Hammer. Put any depth or presence controls at about at 0. It's just a suggestion. You don't have to do it. And I roll back the hum always. I roll back the ripple a little, not quite as much, and turn up the bias here. Now right now it's going to sound like crap. Not so crappy, since it's clean. If it was overdriven, oh, that would be pure crap, let me tell you. Now, we need some IRs. We'll just use the 1024 samples. Let's find a good one. Actually, let's find a pair. Let's do a combination. The OH2F, I believe, is the MD421 and the Royer Ribbon. And I like both of those, so let's roll this back. 6.69, dudes. Now, let's create a separate path here for that, and then put another one right here, because I love to combine the IRs. Now let's try a different cab. Let's go with this one with an actual microphone this time. We'll go with the Fred 121 Royer Ribbon. Same EQ, or low and high cut. 72 on the low end and 6.9 on the top. Depending on the guitar, I would set this, differently. Since this is a pretty warm sounding guitar, it's not really bright. I've actually got room to grow on that, because this is such a, I look at the line low and high cuts as the final EQing. For me, it's it's a let's go with stereo effect here. You know what I want? Some chorus. That's right. Let's crank these up a bit. And then go over here, boost some of that. All right, let's give that a listen. Pretty slick. How about some delay? I like to delay part of the signal, not all of it. We're just going to go with a, actually no. Yeah, let's go with this. And set it accordingly. My favorite time setting is 444. I want some wow and flutter. I want it to be freaky, slightly freaky. Another thing I want to do, let's go over here. I want these to go out separately. So they are their own little signal paths. And I'm not going stereo into my iPhone here, so we're going to leave these both run up the center. But if I were, playing a gig, I would run these left and right and go left and, and right outs. And then let's put some reverb on this one. We're almost ready to stick a fork in this sucker. How about, oh, we'll go with plate, what the heck. Let's tame the size, crank up some pre-delay, about 125 milliseconds. Works for me. I like to kill a bunch of the low, and then see how that sounds. Be a little bit hot because we're going out of the good times. I would turn the trails on, sorry, and then call it a day with this sucker. You know, I would add a boost to it, but not a pedal boost. I would do my kind of boost, which means going into the amp here and creating what I call some kick-ass. Let's find a switch for it. I like my boost to be to the right. Let's name that sucker. It's gonna be a long video. I better hustle. Ta-da. All right, next thing you gotta do, we need to go into the amp. And since we have the master set, I know the master is set, let's move this over to the kick-ass. Master, the lowest bottom, or the level was set at 7.5, so that's gonna be our baseline. And we're gonna go like 9.0. Hit the kick-ass button so I can learn it. I don't use the hit the learn function because that can fuck things up. There's a little bit, that's some bugginess going on there. Now what we need to do is, since this is turning on and off the amp, we need to remove the amp from the equation, which is really simple. All you do is do that. Now we just have the boost. So let me turn on the volume here a little bit. Give you my sound. Hit the kick-ass. There we go. Awesome blossom. There you go, everybody. How I do everything I do. Good times. I'll be back tomorrow, and it's another Name That Riff Wednesday. Don't forget, I have presets for sale. You can buy my early 80s rock preset package or the 5150 amp pack package. Amp pack. Amp pack sounds cooler. 5150 amp pack. It is. I have decreed it. Each of them are just 15 bucks. There's a link in the description on the video. You can go directly to it and get those presets. 15 of them. $15. Good times. So I'll see you tomorrow, everybody. Please, have a good evening. And until tomorrow, rock on.